A$AP Rocky was not just found not guilty late yesterday, but it was as boisterous as it gets.
It's as big a courtroom celebration as you can see for someone who is clearly elated. But he nearly choked out Rihanna, hugging her so tightly.
It was amazing. But,
I've never seen someone
He had 24 years on the line there, and it resets his life.
Yes, absolutely. It was quite the celebration, and it continued. Obviously, that's what we saw in court. And then late last night, as you would expect, Rocky and Rihanna were out celebrating. They were in Beverly Hills.
At this new private
club.
Really beautiful.
Gravitas.
Yeah, really, really beautiful.
Yeah, they were
Celebrating with Joe Tacopina.
And they had their legal team there, of course, thanking them, I'm sure, for getting him acquitted in this case. So what went down, not only in court, but at the after party? Joining us right now is Joe Tacopina, the conquering attorney in this case. Joe, welcome back to TMZ Live.
Thanks, Harvey. Thanks, Charles.
Okay, so two things. One, congratulations, and two, you look like you got no sleep.
Wow, right off the bat, Harvey, just hit him with that. I mean, he's right, though.
Harvey.
I mean, he's right,
though. A month of no sleep, and then last night was a little rough. I don't really think I'm in condition to be a doctor right now, but I'll give it a whirl. No, but it's been a month of no sleep. I mean, look at me. It's tough. Trials like this are crazy because you don't sleep. You know, even when you're done working at 3 or 4 in the morning, you know, I sleep with one eye open and a pad next to my bed because I'm always thinking of something and my brain doesn't stop. So it's not really, and you go on adrenaline. You literally go on adrenaline during the day. I did a 5.5-hour summation on no sleep, but it's adrenaline. And then after the trial, it all goes crashing down. But it was worth it. I mean, it was such a beautiful day yesterday because those two people mean so much to me. Last night was really a great night of relief and happiness for them. And of course, for me too. And,
what were you, Joe? What were you thinking at that moment when Rocky first there was a quick congratulatory hug, and then the crowd surfing? What were you thinking at that moment when he walked away from you and dove into the gallery there? Were you thinking the judge isn't going to like this, or good for him, or what was going through your mind?
The judge loved him, so it wasn't even that. Here's what was going through my mind. When there's a verdict being read, I am laser focused on that clerk because there were 2 counts in this case. And even though I was confident, I came on your show the day before the verdict, right? I said how confident I was, which a lot of people were like, oh my God, how can you be so confident? I was like, because I am. But there were 2 counts, and the jury could do anything. And so I wanted to hear a second not guilty before we started hugging. You don't notice I didn't move. I didn't see Rocky leave. So I'm laser focused. I turned to him and he wasn't there. And I said to my partner, Chad, I go, did he leave? And he's like, I swear to God. I look back and I see him body surfing in the audience. Like, what? I couldn't process this, guys.
All you saw were the bottom of his shoes.
You know the funny part of this is when you look at it again, the bailiff was helping him over the banister. I mean, see the woman, now watch, she takes his feet and she helps him over.
Like, well, as long as he's going over, let's make sure he gets over all the way.
It was great, that bailiff. But anyway, so I didn't see it. Then I'm like, I said to my partner, get him back here. We have another count. And then I'm thinking, my God, how embarrassing would this be if they find him guilty on the second count, right?
Oh, right.
I knew that wasn't going to happen. But everything goes through my head when I'm hearing a jury verdict. The tension is insane. Like the anxiety, this is the worst part of my job for sure. Waiting for that, you know, they say hours of boredom, seconds of terror when you're waiting for a verdict and then you hear there is a verdict. And so listening to that, and then so finally, when both counts of not guilty were read, then it was just pure elation and joy. And then, you know, Rihanna gave me, well, he obviously see Rocky there give me a massive hug. I couldn't breathe almost, I think. But right about then, I was like, I can't breathe. So that was
it really,
right there.
It really did look like family, Joe. And I know we talked about this on Monday where, you know, you say that you think of your clients as family, and they've said the same. But that hug, that's what I was thinking when I saw you guys celebrating that way. I was like, God, that is a family hug right there.
Yeah.
It is. It is. Those two are special to me. We've been very close for 3+ years. I can't tell you how many times I had to convince them and reassure them that it was going to be okay. I mean, Rihanna, you know, I've had a lot of one-offs with her where she's like, Joe, is my family okay? Is my family? I said, yes, you're going to be okay. We're going to be okay here. She gave me one of the strongest hugs I've ever had in my life. And you know, you notice the suit I chose to wear that day was a sort of a light colored beige suit. She gave me this massive hug. And when she lifted her head off me, I noticed I had the whole Fenty collection on my lapel. So that, I went from a pure elation of a not guilty
Hey,
verdict.
by the way, that suit coat is probably worth a lot of money.
That's right.
You could put
100%. Put it on eBay, dude.
Absolutely distraught. I was like, it was a brand new suit. I was like, so I said last night I couldn't help myself. Rihanna, could I talk to you? So she's like, Joe,
Joe, you're reading it wrong. We're saying it's worth more now that it has Rihanna's makeup on it.
This is worth thousands and thousands of dollars, Joe.
You need to sell that thing.
Thousands and thousands
Yeah,
of
because
you hear that? He's like, what do you think I buy, Harvey?
I thought it was like I thought it was a $300 suit, Joe. The thing that is really stunning about this is turning down that plea deal where you would have gotten 6 months, and you're rolling the dice on 24 years, and you won it. So that's great. Now, the question that everybody has, certainly in our office, is an interview, a post-verdict interview.
One of the jurors
gave. And what this juror said is a little bit confusing to us.
When you heard the idea of the prop gun, just you personally, what'd you think about that?
I didn't really believe it. I didn't think that either, they had really convincing evidence that it was a prop gun. It was kind of a little mysterious the way it disappeared. And they couldn't produce it, as evidence. So some of the testimony did not sound accurate or truthful.
What did you think about the testimony of Relly?
Relly, I believe that he felt his life was in danger. I do. I feel for all of them, all the people involved with this. I feel like this could have been avoided. I hope that in the future, Mr. Mayers really thinks his actions, about his actions before, he is upset with somebody. He does have a lot to lose, and he's lucky at this point that, we didn't have enough evidence to, hand down a conviction.
Joe, she also said that they believed a crime had been committed, and you heard her say they didn't buy that, your theory that it was a prop gun. So we heard all that, and we're like, well, wait a second.
It's a little confusing.
Why didn't they convict him then?
Well, one, that shows me the system works because there's still a reasonable doubt. I focused heavily in my summation on a reasonable doubt. I said it only takes one. And look, here's what a reasonable doubt is not. It's not he probably committed the crime. It's not I think he committed the crime. It's not he most likely committed the crime. It's not I'm almost certain he committed the crime, guys. It's I have no reason to doubt he committed the crime. That's the highest standard the law permits here. And that's a very high standard. You just heard her. That standard wasn't even close to being met. Now, I will say this. I spoke to 3 other jurors, had completely different opinions than she did, who believed that the evidence was as strong for a prop gun than a real gun. It couldn't have been a real gun if there was no evidence of a shooting, which their lead detective said. There was no shell casings that were recovered by the police. I could go on and on. I don't need to give my summation again. But so 3, here's what she also said in the beginning of that interview, which wasn't played here, was she said they went into the jury room and it was a 10 people wanted to vote not guilty right off the bat.
Yeah, she said that she and like one other person needed
she was always our problematic juror. We knew that of going in just by her faces and everything else. And that's the one that someone chose to interview. That's fine. But look, it only took her 3 hours to be convinced. Come around, right? So when she says we thought a crime, I don't think she speaks for that jury because I spoke to 3 of them. And Nancy Dillon from Rolling Stone also spoke to another juror who had a completely different take on this thing, and she published that interview. I spoke to 3 jurors who reached out to me and said, look, we're so happy for him. Please pass on our regards and let him know that we believed him and we believed in him, and we're happy for him. So look, when you have a jury, you don't know exactly what's going on back there, right? And it's just
that kind of brings me to something that I've always wondered about. So you get a call that the jury's reached a verdict and it was a little less than 4 hours. So
3 hours and 5 minutes.
Yeah, so that. I'm sure Rihanna and ASAP asked you at some point, what does it mean? What do you say to them before the verdict? Do you create a sense of confidence? Are you cautious? What did you say? Did they ask that? Ooh. And what did you say?
They asked, of course they asked it. And I said what I felt. Look, I don't ever BS a client, especially when in a moment like this, when it's, just the consequences are so dire. And so I said to them what I felt. And what I said to you guys the day before, I said, look, guys, we had a 4-week trial. We have very smart jurors. We had like a rocket scientist on that jury, a rocket scientist. I'm literally a rocket scientist, like a scientist who builds rocket ships was on that jury. Okay? For real. I never met a rocket scientist before. She was on our jury.
Well, you're not talking to here.
Yeah, or here. We're all in that same club. So anyway, I said, we have a super smart jury. Reasonable doubt was, I mean, it larged this case. I mean, there's hundreds of reasonable doubts. All they need is one. And so, I said, there's no way 12 jurors came together in 3+ hours and found you guilty. There's no way. We're getting acquitted. This is going to be behind you. Now, that's what I believed. Of course, that being said, you just never know. You just never know. And the judge is something very unique here that almost did give me a heart attack. I think I've lost a couple of years of my life.
When he polled the jury before the verdict?
Harvey. So I've tried 120 jury trials, both as a prosecutor and defense attorney. You never poll a jury.
I know. I felt the same way. I know.
No, it's never happened in my career.
I was shocked. I was shocked.
You don't poll a jury on not guilty. He gets the verdict forms. First of all, you read the verdict first, then you poll the jury on a guilty verdict. He gets the verdict forms. He looked angry. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I know he liked Rocky as a person. And he made it clear he liked Rocky as a person. He looked upset. He turns them down and he says, I want the jurors to be polled. I want them to all acknowledge openly that that is their verdict. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, how did I get this wrong? There's no way those 12 jurors convicted. There's no way. It's impossible. I told you guys that the night before. Yeah. And I was just like, I cannot believe this. For the first time, I started feeling lightheaded. So I looked over to our local counsel, Sarah Kaplan, who was there. And I said, Sarah, do they do this in California? And she said, never.
I know.
Oh, my God.
I
You
know.
must have had...
Rocky, now, Rocky's here listening to all this, and he looks at me.
I told you this.
He goes, he goes, oh, literally, that's what Rocky said to me. I'm like, hang in, let's see. But I really thought we had a problem. I really did. And then afterwards, I went to the judge. I said, hey, Your Honor, on the side, I said, what did you do that? Like, what did you do that? Did I need that?
What did he say? What did he say?
I do that in every case. I go, you poll a jury on a not guilty in every case? You go, why? Because I just want to make sure it's their verdict. I'm like, okay, well, you should have read the not guilty part first. Because you owe me a few years, I said, of my life on the back end. So, but anyway, that was a moment, guys, where I felt ill. I felt really ill.
Right, especially when
it happened. Yeah. But
well, now we know why there was that explosive reaction because
from Rocky, right? Because he had a moment there where he's like,
thinking,
oh,
this
my
is
God,
going south. Screwed.
Hey, was there at the after party at this place Gravitas? Was there any more crowd surfing that went on? Maybe you got past.
No. It was much more. It was a private sort of thing in there. Ree was there. Obviously, Rihanna was there. She was so great. They did tell me, and I'm very happy about this because I got this on the record that when they have their third child, it's ASAP Joe. They promised me that, so I'm very.
I love that.
Wow.
Well, listen, hey,
Joe, I got to be honest with you. I heard you drop that one outside court yesterday.
See, that was the first thing she said in the courtroom. My next baby's ASAP Joe. I was like, all right, I can deal with that. So,
oh my God!
All right, well,
listen,
congrats, man.
Huge victory for you. High stakes as it gets. Boy, you played this, man.
The old riverboat gambler.
When you rejected that plea deal, everybody's like, "What is going on here?" You won.
I read some comments after the fact. I don't read anything during the trial, but I did read some people calling me insane, legal errors and crazy and whatever.
Yeah, but, you know what it turns out? You're a legal rocket scientist.
Exactly. I may not build spaceships, but I could do some things in the courtroom. That's a maybe. So
anyway, congrats, Joe. Get some sleep.
I need some. I'm going to. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got to get those Visine drops.
I remember I told you when they were reading.
Yes, you did.
And I said, what's going on here?
Yeah.
It was weird.